I worked in corporate America for a long time. I worked in financial engineering, product design, and data science. That's my background. So I used to work at Yahoo and Goldman Sachs, and then American Express for a long time. And then I left, and then I focused on Blockcircle as my main baby. And basically, it's a digital asset investment analytics company, right? So we focus on trying to find undervalued projects in crypto as early as we can. So try to find alphas as early as we can. And I feel like what we've built is we're just a family, right? So we're like obsessed with on-chain. That's what we're focusing on for the last several years. And we have a whole suite of tools and different things that we built that help people. But we're bringing in alpha from different parts of the world. Like that's why we have Conor here from Blockcircle Indonesia. So he's his own community, and everybody is contributing together, right? So everybody's bringing in their own suggestions or their own projects that are worth looking at, and we help each other. So like we have a lot of fun. It's awesome. So that's my background. And I live in I'm in Arizona in like Southwest United States. Connor, do you want to introduce yourself too?
Yeah, sure. I'm the co-founder along with my wife, Blockcircle Indonesia. And joined Blockcircle back in 2020, I think, about halfway through 2020. I got in right before the 2021 market. So had a spectacular year in 2021, and then sort of been building ever since, and joined the team properly in 2023. Went to a few conferences in Miami, and started Indonesia, Blockcircle Indonesia shortly after I joined. I've done a ton of stuff in on-chain trading, made a bit of money, lost a lot of money, and came through it all. So at the bottom of a crypto bear market that we're still in at the moment, have been in for a while, but hopefully we find our way out and come on the other side when things get a bit easier. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so maybe we can ask you guys. I mean, have you guys ever? Do you know what a soft wallet is or a hot wallet? Like, have you ever set up a MetaMask wallet or a Phantom wallet? Have you ever done any of that, or not yet?
But he's asking, it's very interactive, so it's a give and take.
I mean, I have a MetaMask wallet.
You have a MetaMask. You've traded on it. You've used it.
Just once. That was
just once.
2021.
Have you downloaded the wallet? Okay. You want to start a bit, or I don't know. You want to start a bit and just get things going and whatever counts.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know in Lebanon how this works. It's Sunday.
Yeah, I think I think we can get started. Maybe what I can do is maybe I can just start with like giving the history. Rania, that would probably be a good idea, just so everybody understands. Like, so, I mean, and I think you guys already understand like the main history, but basically everything that you guys have been talking about has been off-chain, which is where everyone starts, and that's starting on Binance or Coinbase or KuCoin. But you understand the risks of that involved. Obviously, it's centralized exchanges. It's like the perfect target. You know that, so we can skip that. And then everything shifted to on-chain, but only 10% of crypto investors trade on-chain. Literally only 10%. So the 90% still have not set up a soft wallet like MetaMask or Phantom. They still have not set that up, and they're just sticking to off-chain. But the problem with on-chain is that 99% of tokens that are being launched on-chain, like you're seeing on, Gecko terminal or Dexscreener, these are basically trading terminals, right? So this allows you to buy and sell tokens, and think of this as a competitor to Binance or a competitor to KuCoin, right? So these trading terminals list all the coins that are being launched across different blockchains, like Solana, Ethereum, Base. These are all different blockchains, and they launch their own, and people launch tokens on these blockchains. The challenge with these, though, is that 99%, and I'm not exaggerating, 99% of tokens that are being launched are scams, and they're called honeypots. And honeypots basically means that a project is launched and then the liquidity for that project is completely withdrawn. So it's wiped out. So think of it as you're trading on Binance and then suddenly the order book gets wiped out to $0. So you literally cannot buy or sell. You're stuck holding a bag of rocks and you're screwed, right? So this is one huge problem with Onchain, is that they're full of honeypots, which are those types of scams, rug pulls, illiquid assets, right? Just like what Moses was saying about how a lot of them have rug pulls. They're cabal controlled, right? So basically, if there's a group of insiders who are friends, who are millionaires, who are all helping each other pump the coin up and up and up, right? And so that's one huge risk. Another huge risk is that the wallets themselves are hacked constantly. So if you're on MetaMask, like I'm on MetaMask now, and I'll show you. So if you're on MetaMask, your wallet can get hacked very, very easily, very, very easily. So an example. So like this is MetaMask. So this is an example of a hot wallet, and you see I have it set up here on the top, just as a Chrome extension, right? It's just a Chrome extension, and you basically, that's MetaMask, what I'm highlighting there on the top right, and then on the next to it is Phantom. So these are two different types of wallets, but they're the same concept. So this wallet allows you to trade on-chain. It allows you to connect to the on-chain world. So this is the best way to actually start going and start getting onboarded. And all you do is you go to MetaMask and just Google MetaMask, go to the website, and install it as a Chrome extension and follow the steps. It's very simple. So, but that's it. Once you set up the wallet, then what you'll do is you basically transfer from your Binance account or from your KuCoin account directly to that wallet. So then once you have the funds in your wallet, then you can trade on-chain, right? So, but the problem with that is that these wallets are very easily hacked. So you have to be very careful, and you have to know what you're doing, and you have to be responsible with what types of decisions you're taking, right? So that's phase two. And then where we are today is even if you have a wallet set up and you're trading on-chain and you have a sort of a general idea of how to look at coins and how to audit the projects, like evaluate the projects, there's still insiders who are pumping and dumping. There's still Telegram groups, Signal and call groups that are just putting a project up for everybody to look at, and then they dump on you as you are buying, right? So you're essentially being used as exit liquidity, right? Hopefully this is making sense, but does that make sense? Like, so hopefully that gives you like a general overview of crypto and the history of it. But so what do you guys think? I mean, do you have any questions? Haroon or Moses? Anything
Not
you
really.
want me
It's
to
all,
clarify?
everything is
Everything's clear. Alex.
في كونكت بس اذا في بتصير دايركت كونكت مع الميتا ماسك.
ما هو once you put forward account on MetaMask, all right, then you have that wallet. This is your wallet. Once you actually use that's what we're gonna do now, which is the on-chain. You connect your on-chain to depends on which blockchain you're using. Solana usually is Phantom. MetaMask are more for EVMs. أنا for instance.
يعني انا بفهم الموضوع it's a hub.
It's a wallet. Okay, it's a wallet, but each wallet هو كل blockchain has a wallet that's compatible with it, more or less. The new wallets are all OpenAI wallets, and I use an OpenAX wallet. It's a multi-chain wallet. It goes on any single wallet. So I connect that wallet to that chain, and from there, from that blockchain, and from there I trade. That's just amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And these are the two most common wallets: is MetaMask and then Phantom. And then if you put in more than a few $1,000s, then it's like more than 10,000. Then it's better to have a hard wallet, like a physical device, like like a physical device that looks like a USB chip.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, please, of course. Ask questions, as many as you want.
Why do you have Doge chain mainnet?
Doge chain mainnet. So
Were
this,
you like connected?
so this Doge chain is a layer 2 Doge chain running on top of the Doge blockchain.
I mean, do you have any experience with them?
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
we trade. No, we trade on all of them. I think we got caught, Basel. So basically, we trade on all of them.
I can tell you so much about Doge.
Yeah,
So much about
Basel. I think we cut off.
No, I can hear you. I can see
What?
you.
So Doge. So depends on each blockchain. Are you back on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I used to talk with the owner of Doge.
The owner about
Andrew Lee, that's what.
Yeah, so we were buying several projects on Doge chain mainnet from a long time ago. So Alex, I'll show you. So Alex was buying like one of the first meme coins that was launched on Doge chain mainnet. And yeah, so that's Doge chain is from like a long, it hasn't really done well. This is the problem with it. It sort of hasn't really taken off. Like I'll show you. So there just hasn't been really much action at all on it. It sort of died,
No, it was.
So Omnom is the only one. Omnom, like
bad
the
experience.
I didn't have a bad experience. Can I tell you my story about
Yeah.
Doge chain?
yeah, of course. Tell us.
So basically, they before the first burn, they did a burn. I don't know, guys, if you remember. They did like the biggest burn in the crypto history. I 10x'd with them,
Okay.
but after that, they announced the second burn. I thought the same thing was going. They lose space in between.
Basel, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
And again, you 10x. 148.
I can't hear you.
10x, 48.
I'm back.
I was 19.
I'm
I
listening.
was 19.
Okay.
So it's,
All right.
It's part of your children.
It's okay. It's part of your learning experience. And
that's
this is why we're going to teach you how not to get scammed again. Yeah. We're just going to show you a quick way of how you run through them. But just at least we get to understand how to go and did you understand how to تنزل a wallet نزل MetaMask or
No, I just have Binance.
oh, you just have Binance. Okay, so MetaMask is very easy مثل ما قال. You just go into the website تنزلها بتحط extension and then you go into the trading terminals. That's keep going.
Yeah, so so just to answer your question about Omnom, like why do we know it? So we bought Omnom that was launched on Doge chain. We bought it like extremely early, right after launch. And the co-founder of Blockcircle, the main guy, Crypto Hunter, he did like 300x on it, which is ridiculous, but that's what he did. Let me show you how it looks. But basically, that's where we bought it. We literally bought it at a few $100K, and it went up a ridiculous amount. But then the problem is we held it for too long. So it's like went up, sold some, and then it plummeted. And I don't know if it's ever going to recover. Like this is the problem with it. But curious. I mean, I think once Doge comes back, it'll survive. I mean, but look at this. It's ridiculous. So anyways, so yeah, I mean, that's basically that's where we're at right now. And how you get set up, you get the wallet set up, and then you look at which projects to look for. So you go to Dexscreener.com, DEX screener, and Dex is, you know, a decentralized exchange. So it's not centralized, it's decentralized. And that's where you can find which projects to buy across different blockchains. The challenge is how do you know what to buy and when to buy, because there's literally tokens being launched every minute. Like every minute there's new tokens being launched, right? And that's obviously makes everything a lot more complicated, right? And I'm not even showing you the full list. Like if you look at the full list, we go to Gecko Terminal, so geckoterminal.com. This is, you know, like CoinGecko, I'm sure you've heard of. So CoinGecko shows you all of the listings. The Gecko Terminal is for Onchain. And look at all the tokens being launched. Like you can see this with your own two eyes, right? So, I mean, look at this. Every minute there's a new token being launched, and they all have liquidity. They all have market caps. They all have transactions. They all have holders, right? They all have usage. So how are you supposed to figure out what to do and how to get started, right? So the whole everything here is just, it's overwhelming unless somebody tells you what project to buy. And a lot of times when people tell you the project to buy, it's bullshit. It's a scam. It's a rug pull. They're just trying to pump it and then dump it on you. So then what we've developed to help us is basically an alpha hunter. And what the alpha hunter really does is it searches for new launches. And when it finds new launches that looks like it's promising, it tells us about it right away, right? So for example, like Alpha Hunter Solana is looking at projects where if a project is launched and that project is being bought by a whale, then it'll tell us, right? And if it's not just a whale, it could be a project that's being launched, and it could be being bought by multiple whales and multiple insiders, right?
This is Onchain.
So I'll give you an example here. I'll try to find a good example.
Okay. See if you got two phrases. These two keys that's public key, you know, and this you can use it for everyone when you trade. Basically 3 phrases of 12 words. Those one ما بتعطيهم لحدا بتضبهم شي خزنة ما بتحطهم على anything, because if you lose that wallet. This is why they tell you your key is your wallet. Basel, you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm cutting, but okay, I'm just giving them how to do the MetaMask. So you know, so that's what you save it. You don't show it to anyone. That's the way you can recover it on every multiple wallet. Okay. So دخلت بتخبيها هيدي, and then now you have a wallet that's an EVM, because MetaMask is mainly EVMs. Basically, EVM is like Ethereum based, which Solana. Okay, so it has Solana, but you know, it's preferred for the other ones. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Basel.
No. That's exactly it. I mean, I'm just showing you in the background, right? Like what it is. But so for example, Alpha Hunter Ethereum, it's what the Alpha Hunter is doing is it's scanning every single new token being launched, and then it's looking at all the holders, and then it tries to find who is buying this token. Is it an insider? Is it a profitable trader? Is it a whale? A whale is somebody who has a huge amount of assets, like $100, $200, $300,000. Or is it a high performance trader? Is it a trader that seems to have a good history, right? And so for example, Selaxi Network launched a token on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And we got notified of that like very quickly, right after launch, right? And you could see it had the initial dump, but then this is a real project that's worth a ridiculous amount, and we were able to catch it extremely early, like extremely early. So this is just an example, and now we caught it at like less than, if you look at number of holders, it only had 3,000 holders when we first caught it, and we found one whale who bought it. So one whale had 1.3 million in his wallet, his or her wallet, and they had 600,000 worth of ETH in their wallet, and they bought the token, right? And we caught it within the first 3,000 holders, right? Now there's 36,000 holders. So hopefully you're getting the idea is you want to be alerted as early as possible after launch of a project that could be interesting, because that's the only way I feel we're going to survive in this sector. That's the whole reason why we built the Alpha Hunter. And we didn't, yeah, and we didn't build this ourselves. Like this is with everybody was contributing ideas. Right?
Basel, let's go back a bit. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you. Before we get here, let's go back to how we got here. All right. So because I just helped him get down MetaMask.
Yeah.
So let's go back to multiple chains. I think everybody knows that, Solana, BTC, and whatever. And each one to go in. And so the first thing that you do when you look for a chain is to look on each chain go back to the text to be where do you find the Uniswap, because we didn't even go through that before we jump into the tokens. After you put the money in MetaMask, you know, how do you buy the tokens on decentralized exchanges? So you have Uniswap for Ethereum.
So let's say here, right? So let's say you want to buy Solaxi, right? And all you do is you take in, so let's say somebody needs to give you an address. Just like you delivering a package or you wanting to pick something up, you need to get an address. So they give you a contract address, which is this. And usually for Ethereum, Base, Arbitrum, Optimism, like EVM chains, Ethereum virtual machine chains, they usually start with 0x, right? So all you do is you go to Dexscreener.com. So let's start from the beginning. You go to Dexscreener.com, you go to search on the top left, you paste in the contract address, and then it tells you where it's trading. It's showing you all of the liquidity pools, which is basically all the different options for you to buy it, right? And then once you're here, you click it, and then you get to the token page, right? And then once you're in the token page, you basically can buy it just by scrolling down a little and clicking this, trade on Uniswap, right here. And then,
Okay, and then I click it. What?
And when you click it, what you click on Uniswap
You just click it and it'll take you to Uniswap.
yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
But you can undo Uniswap.
And then you see it goes to uniswap.org, and then you connect your wallet.
No, Uniswap is a website. It's set up
So you
anyways.
will need to connect
So just
to wallet.
So when you open Uniswap, you just connect your wallet, MetaMask, Phantom, whichever wallet, to Uniswap. All right, and then you decide how much you want to buy. You put in Ethereum or USDT. Sorry, Basel.
ما فينا نعمل convert direct. هذا مو BTC عم بيعملوا.
My BTC it's not EVM. This is where you're at. BTC is not EVM. It's not Ethereum. Uniswap is for Ethereum.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
you have to convert your BTC to Ethereum or USDT to be able to get up on Uniswap.
Okay.
All right.
What?
Okay, and then you have whatever you have on your wallet. If you're selling Ethereum or USDT, and then you instead of the buy, you put the token Solax, you put the token contract address, and then you just after you connect the wallet, you just decide to buy. Okay, and that's how you find it directly to show up into your wallet. I'll actually show you, and I'll show you an example.
Is it the market buy?
If you can put it as market buy, or on Uniswap, you can actually have the limit buy. Basel, can you show Uniswap? You can actually see up here.
Yeah. You could do here. I'll connect and show you.
Yeah, please.
With this Discord thing,
Yeah,
the thing that shows notification of this project launch.
yeah.
So do you guys advise people to wait and do their own research, or just market buy this thing?
We always do your own research. How we get to how we do our own research.
That's not my plan or my goal is to be early.
Yeah, but you do your own research, takes like 5 to 10 minutes if you get the click on it, and now Abbas will show you how you do it. So the first thing you do is, once you get on Dexscreener, do your own research.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to understand. Limit buy, let's say you can literally miss out if sometimes
It doesn't hit. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and if you market buy, isn't there a chance you get sandwiched or something like
That's
that?
how you have an MEV, you use MEV protection, and not to get sandwiched.
I don't know how that's works.
Okay, that's go ahead.
Yeah. No. So
First, to have this information.
Yeah, that's what explain all. I think he just jumped a few steps. That's what.
So so just to explain, you're asking about, being front run or being sandwiched, and like what he's asking is, and is basically if you're in a store and you're waiting in line and you want to buy something, if somebody in front of you buys the last thing that you want, turns around and then tries to sell it to you for a higher price, that's you being sandwiched, right? You're being sandwiched and you're being front run. Somebody's cutting in line in front of you and then buying what you want and then turning around, selling it at a higher price. So to avoid that what you do, and that's called MEV bots. So they're called MEV bots. That's what they do. Is they're exploitative bots. They come and they take advantage of something that you want to buy, and then they cut the line. So what you do is you need MEV bot blockers, right? And one of the ones that we use is MEV blocker, right? However, you don't even really need to use this as a standalone anymore because MetaMask itself has a built-in MEV blocker. It has an MEV blocker. So I don't think you really need to focus too much on having to have that because you could have smart transactions turned on. I like to have it just in case because, you could have it like this. So it's basically, see, MEV blocker. Hopefully you can see that. It's a little small, but this is what I have. So MEVblocker.io.
So can you just tell us like where we should use the MEV blocker, like on which chain basically?
Ethereum. That's your main. That's the main one because it's slower. It's slower than the other layer 2 or layer 1 blockchains.
Okay.
So you don't need to use Solana because Solana is so much faster. So you don't get sandwiched.
And Phantom and MetaMask and Base or whatever, you don't need MEV?
Not so much.
Yeah, but Ethereum. So if you're using Phantom and you're executing a transaction on Ethereum, you should use an MEV blocker if you don't want to trust the one that's built in, right? And then the other thing too is the OKX wallet has an MEV blocker now too. So see, they support Flashbot to prevent MEV bots. So Flashbot is another very famous one. This is an MEV bot protector that you use on top of the wallet. So you don't get sandwiched. But yeah, hopefully that's making sense. Yeah.
Okay, so basically you just connect your wallet. You put how much Ethereum you want. You buy it market, you want to buy it limit. If you're buying them right off the spot, there's no point of actually putting a limit because it means it has to crash. But if you're buying like mid caps, then you might want to put the limit on it. As for the new tokens, it just launched. The ones that he showed you are just launched 15 minutes ago. You don't have to put the limit.
Well, this is the thing I have like question marks and
Yeah, go ahead.
because I know if it's newly launched token,
Yeah.
who are you buying from?
All right.
So if I'm buying it.
So the way that decentralized exchanges work is when you're buying off chain on Binance, then you're buying it you're using an order book, right? And an order book, there's always buy and sell side. Like when you're on Binance, you basically always have something that looks like this. So it's showing you, you have the red side, which is people selling, and then you have the green side, which is people buying, right? So you have the bid and ask, you have the offer, and then you have the amount that's actually being willing to be sold. But these are for centralized exchanges. So this is very simple, right? But for decentralized exchanges, you have liquidity pools. And the way that liquidity pools work is there are people who take 50% stable coins like USD, and then 50% of that token, and then they contribute that to a liquidity pool, right? So I'll give you an example of what that looks like. So that basically is, I'll try to find you an image like this. So this is a liquidity pool. So, and this is how decentralized exchanges work. So how they work is you have a liquidity provider, and they'll put, usually it's like 50-50. So they'll put 50% of token A, which is usually like a stable coin, like a USDC or USDT. And then they'll put 50% of the other token. So it's 50-50. And then if you want to buy for that token, you're buying it from the liquidity pool itself. But you can see there also lies in the risk, right? Because this liquidity provider, if the liquidity is not locked, then the liquidity provider can just withdraw and walk away, and they're gone, right? And they'll never reappear. So that's the challenge. So you have to know how to interpret whether or not liquidity is locked. And this is what we're doing here with the Alpha Hunter, right? It's telling us like Saloxi was launched. It had 1.6 million in liquidity. It only has 110 transactions, which means you have to be careful because this is extremely early. So the earlier you are, the more riskier it is, but also that's where the most opportunity is. And you see this? This is the most important part, Moses. The burned liquidity. It's telling you that none of the liquidity is burned or locked, which means that if it's not burnt or locked, then the liquidity providers can just withdraw and walk away, right? And that hopefully this is explaining to you that why it's risky if you're dealing with a token that doesn't have any liquidity locked or burnt, right? And then the other challenge, there's also something called a buy tax and sales tax. This is very, very important for you to know, because when you're buying a token, you need to know if there's going to be a tax. Like some of these projects will charge you 5% buy tax. So when you're buying, they'll add 5%. Just like you're in a store in Beirut and you're buying something, they'll charge you tax. But when you're selling, sometimes they will charge you 50% sales tax, 80% sales tax, right? Because they want to discourage you from selling. So that's a significant risk. And so you have to know that. You have to be able to fish out those scams and know what metrics to look at and how to audit the projects, etc. So,
Can it be changed?
Once the contract is out and it's done, it's a smart contract. It can be changed.
It can.
It can't be changed.
What if it's a governance thing?
That's different. This is how you see. This is why you check on the contracts to see if there are any risks involved. So if it says that there's a blacklist, then it's a orange flag. It has a white list, it's an orange flag. It's bundled, it's an orange flag. So yes, this is how on Dexscreener, if you see on Dexscreener, you can actually see almost everything. They give you all that information anyways. So here they say it has 0% tag, white tag, 0% sell tags, has no hidden owners, it's not mintable, it's not transferable. Then I think the liquidity was locked here. I don't know if you show up Basel.
Smartphone.
No, here liquidity was locked eventually, but initially it wasn't locked. But about the tax, so this particular project, no, because they couldn't modify the tax. But some projects, yes, they can modify the tax. But that's why you have to look at whether or not it's modifiable or not, right?
Liquidity provider.
Liquidity provider on the decentralized exchanges. So Uniswap, you go into Uniswap, you want to create or PumpFun, or you've heard of PumpFun, I'm sure everybody's heard of PumpFun. You go into PumpFun, you say, if they provide a liquidity pool. Yeah, and this pool is where the money is, the changing is coming from. More the people who actually provide the liquidity pool, we found a very small percentage for being actually providing the liquidity pool for that project.
Transaction
because then they provide liquidity for the project.
Okay.
And you have to provide, each one has to provide, they بجمع مصاري or whatever, or some DAO, or maybe they make a liquidity pool of $100,000 or $50,000 and they lock that one. And then as the project grows, they lock more liquidity. When you are buying on the DEX, you're actually buying the money from the liquidity pool, because that's the money that you're exchanging, which is what Binance does as the order book. And they have it as a liquidity pool. And usually liquidity pools are half USDT, half the token. So they give a mixture of both. When the liquidity isn't locked in the smart contract, that means it's unlocked. That means the smart contract, that the owner of the smart contract can drain the liquidity out of it.
15% insurance.
No, and you can drain the liquidity out of it, and then suddenly you can have a rug full of liquidity rug full. It's called a liquidity rug full. So that's basically that's how you transact with the blockchain. Okay, and then what Basel was showing you is how to find out if this is a token that has any red flags, if it's worth buying or not. If you like the merit, you have to do your due diligence. You have to check its Twitter. You have to see who's buying it. Basel, I'm cutting in. I'm so sorry.
No, don't. Are you not at all? Don't be sorry at all. Cut in as much as you want.
These are part of the audits.
And a
Yeah,
smart
this is part of the
contract.
audits. These are part of the audits in the contract. This is on Ethereum. So Solana has a different one. I think we'll go through it in a bit. But these are on Ethereum.
Yeah. So,
Solana.
but I mean, this is the whole problem, right? Is can you imagine having to go through every single one of these audit fields one by one for every single new token launch, right? And then you have to see whether or not are you even able to sell, because these audit tools are incomplete, right? They don't provide the full coverage of the risks involved, right? And then you have to do this for every single new project, and you have to do this for every single holder to see if they're a whale or not. It's exhausting. Like, this is why we, as like a community, we built Alpha Hunter, because it's telling you that, okay, this project was 1.5 million. It's got 4 million of volume, and liquidity is 348,000. It's got 15,000 transactions, good. But then it's telling you insiders already made 78,000. So that's already, it's not a red flag, but it's like it's an orange flag. It's something to be careful about, right? But then you also see here, so is it mintable? Like, if there's 1 billion tokens in the supply, can they even mint more? Can they freeze the tokens? That's very, very important to know. And also here you see the distribution, like how many, the top 2 owners of this token, how much do they own? Do they own like 50% of the token? Do they own 2% of the token? So this is what we're doing, is we're scanning every project, and then we're looking at the health of the project. And if it passes some conditions and whales are buying it, then we know, right? And then we can decide quickly if we want to go in or not, right?
Yes. It's reading the project.
It's reading the project, it's keeping all the things that you have to do, but you have to do your diligence anyways, because a lot of these are just pumps and dumps. It just shows in and comes out, but at least it gives out 99.99% of the shit, and leaves you the rest of the 1% that probably has 90% more spam. You have to then just do your own thing to see, does it have a community? Is it a good project? Is the idea good? Is it something that you believe in? Is it a layer 1, layer 2 meme, deep in, DeFi, DeSci?
Exactly. That's exactly.
If there's anything you don't get, please. I think we're just.
هلا اكيد you're not getting هيدا شوي it's a little bit كثير advanced اسف you're new to this بس
Advanced to you.
you're anxious
ايه بس عم جرب افهم
ايه انا بس you're anxious لما تحس انه في كرشون شوي
My Spanish was always
No, these are really good questions, guys. Just keep asking. This is exactly what we want, and we want interaction. So.
But you don't get asked, and we're here to. If you want to start from the beginning, you go again. أقول يعني.
هلا كفو بس عندي اسئله
بس I have a question. بس الوقت فرجيتنا على موضوع التوتال liquidity وعلى موضوع الاماونت الكابيتال يمكن 1 مليون والنمبر اوف ترانزاكشنز ورجعت من بعدها شفت شيء بالاوديت وهو هلا نحن when we will be surfing the internet we will not see them clearly هيك على Dex وهيك it's about Alpha Hunter اللي هو بخلينا نشوف الانفو like this او ساعتها بدنا نكون عم نعمل كثير شغل تنقدر نوصل لهودي الريزون ما هيك؟
Yeah, but half and half. So you can see some of it, but a lot of this data you're seeing here was not available, Alex, when it was launched. Like they didn't have the token audits. They didn't. So we built our own auditor. We built our own auditor that is then helping us know whether or not this project's worth looking at. So like this information, there's a lot of information that's not available on Dexscreener. Like none of this information is on Dexscreener right away. So we have to do it ourselves, right? None of this Honeypot field, this is not available. Right? Not like none of this is on Dexscreener, the Honeypot analysis. This is very important. Like a method on, if you can't sell, that's a huge risk. That's a huge problem, right? So hopefully that that answers your question.
Anything? You're good?
Yeah.
Moses.
Can't sell not much. What do you mean? As if he can't sell like 2. What does that mean?
That means immediate means it's a honeypot. It's a honeypot. And if it's a honeypot, it means that you're literally holding a bag of rocks that you cannot sell, which is the most frustrating thing in the world.
And basically, you bought a token, but the contract says that you can't sell it. So basically, you have a token that's unsellable, and you can just take out the liquidity. That's what they call a honeypot.
And then you can't sell.
Can't sell.
You can't sell.
You can't sell. You're fine.
Yeah. But Siphon's command is a huge problem. So if you bought the token and then somehow those tokens are transferred out of your wallet without you knowing, that's a siphon, right? And that's also like an immediate scam. Then you know it's a scam. So that's how
I want you to be sure that the Alpha Hunter these are for tokens that immediately just launched yesterday, 1 hour ago. Okay?
And
They're not for the tokens that were like for a year ago.
yeah, but so let's say behind DR,
Yeah.
there was a token created.
Yeah.
Like the best team, best economics. How long will I get to know the Alpha Hunter?
Some things are as early as 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes 5 minutes. But we're being very selective. So we have like 100 conditions that need to be met. And you got to understand that, and I'm not exaggerating when I'm telling you this, there's literally 100,000 projects plus being launched a day. Like you're seeing it, right? So just do the math. Every day there's over 100,000, more than 100,000, and through the Alpha Hunter we're only getting less than 5 a day. So that means we have to filter out 99.9% of all the projects because we have a minimum. We're saying minimum market cap is 100 to 200K, minimum liquidity 100,000, minimum number of whales involved 2, minimum transaction volume is X. We have 100 conditions, and then once those are met, then it'll tell us, okay, this project's worth considering, right? And the thing is, when you look at memes, so this is a perfect example. This is a perfect example we're talking about. This project, Chill Gull, just a meme, right? It's a meme that was launched, and then we caught it very quickly. So look at this is my time. So June 27th, this was on Friday at 12:43 a.m. Okay, and if you look at where that was, look at 12:43 a.m. Let me zoom in so you can see it. Here. So 20, I hope we can see it. Almost there. Okay, here. So it was launched. See, we caught it within 7 minutes, Moses. So it was launched at 12. It was launched at 12:35, and then we caught it at 12:45, 12:47, I think. So what was it? 12 minutes? No, 12:43, 7 minutes. So we caught it right here.
Zoom up to a bigger. This is on the 1 minute. Zoom up a bit.
Yeah, but then you're not going to see the. I wanted to just show you the push up, right? Yeah.
All right.
So it went up 4x after. But the beauty of this is these are for scalp trades in and out because it's a PumpFun launch. You see? So it's a meme. And if it's a meme, that means it could die at any second. So you got to go in quickly and then get out quickly. And you see, but what was this project? This project, see, it's been deleted. This is the point. This is why you don't hold meme coins. You buy in quickly and then get out, get your profit, move on to the next project, right? And we have a guy from Lebanon, Aboudi, Rania, you can like talk about him too, but he's in Blockcircle and he didn't know anything about on-chain trading. He didn't know about how to go deep into the trenches until now. He's trading in and out very aggressively and he's doing very well because he knows to sell.
I'm sorry.
So it's like a roulette table.
It's like a what, brother?
roulette table. عم بحط مسألة كيش.
It's not a roulette table. It's more or less.
No, it's not like that. It's not just blind gambling, but it's definitely not because we're screening the projects. So for example, Chill Gull, we already noticed Chill Gull was launched 12:35 again, right? So it was launched 12:35. We got it 7 minutes later, right? Or 8 minutes later. And why did we see it? We saw that first of all, 86% was bundled, which is already a little bit of a red flag. You have to be careful with that. 100% cabal. We know that, right? So we're seeing that immediately. And then if you look at the whales buying, there was a whale that had 264,000 in his wallet or her wallet, and they bought $1,400 worth, and they sold. See, we're tracking it. And then the same one with whale number two. Whale number two had 88,000 in US dollars, and he bought $600 worth of the token, right? So we know that. So if these two are buying it, then that's a very good sign that it could be something worth looking at, right? So, but it doesn't counter the concerns. Like the concerns is 100% cabal is not good. Insiders already made 55,000 is not good. The fact that it's 80% bundled is not good, but it doesn't mean you can't make money from it. I mean, you could still do tremendously well. You just got to be more aggressive with selling, right? So
bundled means it was sniped and just given to.
No, bundle means they put tokens in bundles and they contract them in a bunch where if you sell and buy, it goes in bundles. So
Yeah.
a bunch of contracts into one and it's bundled in one, so it moves in bundles. So it's not a good thing. So it's bundled like 80-90%, it's a bad thing. That means you can bundle in and out the tokens and take them out in one shot.
But if you are sniping, you can snipe a bundle. You can. So, but not all snipes are bundles, right? The bigger problem is bundles. Like people are buying up like 5 or 6 or 7% of the token supply through 5 or 6 different wallets. That's a bundle. Does that make sense? So I'll give you an example. So if you go to the bubble maps, you could see you're gonna see like some pretty significant amount of, you see the concern. So this is the total supply of tokens for Chill Gull. And you see the problem? You see all these wallets that are all interconnected? This is a cabal. This is a cabal, right?
Asif, Japan was a cabal. Cabal basically is an insider.
Yeah. Well, I know.
He's an insider. He's a guy who knows about the project. يمكن حدا عطيه airdrops قال له we're gonna launch the project هلا بعد نص ساعة بلا قبلها. And what they do is they shift the wallets so they take and do 10-15% of the supply. Let's say, I'm just doing an example. And then those 10%, so it doesn't show that one wallet has 10-15%, which is a red flag, because that means the guy can dump 10-15% and really move the market. So what they do is they shift them to multiple wallets that they all own, and that's what bundle is. Okay? You get it? What bundle is? Okay. All right, you're good to go.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
That are like this, a lot of bundles and big bundles, that means there's a few people that control a huge part of the token. So they control 10% of the token or 15% or 20% of the token. So basically it's a واحد عنده 100,000 and it's going up and I control 20%. It's a supply and demand. If I drop 20%, the market's going to shift down and everybody's going to sell. So this is a red flag or an orange flag. Doesn't mean you're not going to make money on it. Just means you have to be, okay, you know what? This is a bundle, it's a cabal. I don't know, Ansem is chilling it, or Murad is chilling it, or Donald Trump's was bundled, by the way. But
Heavily bundled.
It was heavily bundled, right? Yeah. Trump coin was hugely bundled. If you see the tokenomics data, you're going to see a lot of wallets like this. And that's how you knew he was controlling the supply and the you know, so this is always a red flag or an orange flag. So when you see that, okay, they're chilling it, it's moving up, but you know, at any moment, it's a meme coin, it's gonna dump. So أول ما طلع times 2x, times 3x, get out of the market, leave this moving back and get out. So that's basically it. So that's what bundled is.
Sniping.
It's not sniping. Sniping is a completely different.
It's
not sniping. It's when you're looking at the token, you have to look at these things. Because you don't want to go speak in a meme coin and wake up the next morning and find the token. And this is what's happening because there's really seriously, there's 100,000
Not
meme
Doge.
coins a day, but between PumpFun and PumpFun and PumpFun. Moonshot, they launched Moonshot yesterday.
Yeah, but look, so for this one, Moses, you were talking about snipers. Look at the snipers, how much they control. Like, so this is with the snipers, and then without the snipers, 5%. But with the snipers, look how much they bundle, right? And this show, and then you can see exactly what the composition is of each bundle. Like, how much do they still have? How much do they? That's the whole point, right? Is we want to know. So they sold a lot. They sold 83% already. So if they heavily bundled and then held, then that's not a terrible sign. But if they heavily bundled and then sold 83% of their bundle, that means clearly they're just pumping and dumping, right? And you have to be very careful. But you just have to know that, and you have to keep that in mind, combined with the fact that it's 100% cabal risk. Then you know that you need to be more aggressive with exiting faster, right? But this is just memes. So the bigger thing is, using the Alpha Hunter, you find utility coins too. You find tremendously powerful utility coins, like all the ones that are on base. But a lot of the ones on base they're still doing really well, you know. So, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Conor, you wanted to say something, brother? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, as you say there, the utility coins. It's important when you're looking at this from a roulette table perspective. It's very easy to look at the market and see so many projects being launched all the time. On the face of it, is like a roulette table because there's just so many bags basically pumping up and down constantly. But to look at what the Alpha Hunter is trying to do, it's basically to dramatically reduce your odds. So it's trying to change it from playing roulette back to the way the market was in 2021, where we had a much higher chance if we did our research and got a strong fundamental project of doing very, very well with an investment. It's trying to recreate those conditions because with all these sort of scam joke projects, sort of pump and dump dishonest devs entering the market in this last number of years, it's totally destroyed it, as it was back in 2021, where you had a much easier chance of identifying a new project that would do very well because there wasn't as many projects. So that's really, I think, where eventually the Alpha Hunter is trying to get to, is to be able to identify the projects that will be successful and eventually find over iteration a formula that will identify success from the massive amount of projects that are released every couple of days or every couple of weeks.
That's all. I mean, that's basically that's how we're building it, you know, and it's just helping find new projects across 20 plus blockchains, because it's not realistic to track. It's not realistic to track every single one of these blockchains, every single new token launch. Like, it's impossible. Even if you had a team of 1,000 people, you can't scan 100,000 projects a day. It doesn't make any sense. It's impossible. So, but yeah, so it's just it's not perfect. It's a prototype, but we're improving it continuously, and it helps. Like, this is why I think the community helps a lot with Onchain, because it's telling us, the community is constantly telling us what we need to do to make it better, right? Oh, it's still not as accurate as it needs to be, or we need to change the definition of a whale. Like, we used to have the whale at 100,000, but then we moved it up to 200,000. And by doing that, we've disqualified even more projects, right? But a lot of those projects were scams, so we don't want those anyways, you know? But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Go ahead, Rania.
Maroon, he lost you?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, perfect. شكلك you lost على الآخر. Okay, go ahead.
بس ما نحكي ما قال لك ما نحكي
هم مش حاجة السؤال بهذا الأمر، هم ما بيلاحقوا
they provide هلا المفروض أنا they provide the information I need to تدو ريدنج بسرعه تقدر جump in بالوقت المناسب وتطلع بالوقت المناسب.
اوكي alright.
في لما الواحد يعمل سبسكريبشن في تيبس معينه انه ايجو
انه فوتوا وطلعوا مثلا او
لا مش اوردر تيبس انه
Yeah, في هذا هون I'll show you. So we have the user guide that we made, and how that shows you this checklist. Let me zoom in so you can really see it. But this checklist shows you what you should look at for even the projects that are posted. Look at if the whale count is greater than 1. Check if the project has a website, X, Discord. Monitor that, and then you see here the weight. So all of this goes up to 1, right? 100%. So 0.1 is 10%, right? Monitor the token value of each whale. Like how that to me, this is probably the most important is these 3. To me personally, is the whale. Who is buying? What kind of whale are they? How much USDC, how much US dollars do they have in their wallet? What is their trading performance? You know, do they only have one project or do they hold multiple projects and they have tens of thousands in each? Because that's all very good signs that they're active and they're successful. You know, so and then I like the whales that have 7 figures, like minimum $1 million. Because usually those whales are the people who are getting tips from other insiders. So everybody's helping each other, and this is the only way is to track it on chain, is to see exactly what the whales are doing, right? And to not get dumped on is you have to be one step ahead, and this gives us the ability to be one step ahead, right? Check Cabal score. So like, yeah. So to answer your question, absolutely, this is what we have. And then we have a tutorial too. We have a tutorial that walks through it. Yeah. Any questions from Maroon? You've been quiet over there. I don't want to. Any questions from you, brother?
I don't have any specific inquiry.
Okay. But if you do, please, jump in.
Did you automate مثلا in your Blockcircle community the checklist مثلا?
Yes.
Yeah, instead of us reading the checklist and memorize it, in order for us to go to Alpha Hunter and look into the information and to read the Cabal 150 blah blah and avoid by the checklist that I need to check prior investing or not investing. Did you automate all this مثلا with one click to check it for us, and you will get the result? And you will, the decision, it's all yours. But instead of me going into the checklist, why there is no bot that can do the checklist along with the Alpha Hunter and gives you the insight?
Yeah, I mean that's what it's literally going. Think of it as like a siphon, a filter, right? It's going from 100,000 down to 5. So. And then to go from 5 down to which of the 5 is going to do really well is going to be nearly impossible, right? But our main thing is, can we just go down to those 5? And then from those 5, we want to be able to hopefully find 1 or 2 gems. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but just being able to go down to 5 from 100,000, I think is a huge accomplishment, right? That already makes your job a lot easier. This seems like it's a lot. I promise you that we are using way, way more to get down to the 5, right? Because how else are we going to disqualify 99.9% of the projects? Is we have to disqualify them using, when I'm saying we're using hundreds of conditions, I'm not exaggerating. Like we're looking at market cap, volume, liquidity, whale holders, whale composition. We're looking at the age of the project. We're looking whether or not they have a website, whether or not, and then in the end, if it passes the conditions, then it goes through. And this is not that much. Like if you see, this is pre-buying. I forgot to explain this. The ones that are weights have pre-buying. That's before you buy. But after you buy, there's a different steps. And this, once you do it 5, 6 times, 10 times, you'll know it by heart. Like it'll be very simple. You're like, oh yeah, okay. How many whales? Good. How many whales have more than 1 million? Good. How many? Do they have a website? That's good. That's even better. Look at the Cabal score. Got it. Check the volume. Like it's going to take a few days, you know, to practice.
So why don't we automate these into the minimum checklist? مثلا, for instance, إذا أنت you want to go in, for instance, and مثلا as a minimum check of one way, blah 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 blah. There is something automated that can do this analysis just for you to take a decision. You know, you give the equation and you will be the calculator of your decision.
Yeah, but the challenge is that the thing is there's no perfect formula. So it doesn't, even if there's only 2 whales, not 5, and even if the whales are they only have 100,000 or 200,000, it might do much better than a whale that has, 7 million in their wallet. So there's no, we've automated it as far as we can up until today, but it'll keep getting better, because that's as good as it's going to get, because there's no, beyond a certain point, there's no rhyme or reason or rationale behind it. That's what I'm saying. So like a statistical model is only as accurate as what we have in terms of our data set. And you can only automate it up to a certain point. Beyond that, there's random component, right? There's random noise in it. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just like a human. If you have 10 resumes and they'll all look very similar, and then you put them in the workforce, they'll behave completely differently, right? And there's just some characteristics, some attributes that you can't use to predict what the performance of the project is. It's just random. So. Yeah. Right? So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I know what I want to do is similar to what you're asking. What I want to do is I want to take this and I want to roll it up to a score. And the score just says out of 100, anything above 60 is good. That should be instant buy. Anything below 60, you shouldn't even look at, right? That to me would make everything a lot easier, because that's what you're asking, right? And some of this you can automate, some of it you can't. So some of it you can't automate, right? But some of it you can. And that would be amazing if we can just have a score, a very simple score. Like this is extremely high risk, this is high risk, this is medium risk, this is low risk, That would make it a lot easier. I agree with you, 100%. Yeah. And then, but the other challenge is people always ask,
and it's something like a plus also, and for instance, for Blockcircle, and whenever you have something plus, whereby I am ready to outsource it in a way that I am responsible of my decision, why not?
Yeah, I agree. No, that's exactly. I mean, and it's the same thing with people always ask, what do you do when we buy? Like, how do we monitor the project? And this is what you do. So this is why we put all these steps. And most of this can't be automated, but basically it's like checking the history of the dev, the person who created the project, look at whether or not there's a lot of social activity, go to check the X profile, the Twitter profile, see if there's original content there, check if the whales are still holding or selling, right? Like this is why we put this here, so we can see, okay, this whale sold. So we need to know whether or not they're selling or are they holding. Like that's extremely important. And then we also want to see if they're we want to see what the whale is doing with the project too. Like, are they, so for example, I want to see when they're buying and when they're selling. So like this whale bought, you can see the B is when they're buying and then they're selling. So they're buying it all and then selling it within the next hour. So that we need to know that. So that's very important to know, right? So this is what I mean as well. So you have steps before you buy and then steps after you buy.
Excuse me, can you see that sheet for after buying?
Yes, this. Like this.
Can we take a break just a bit, Basel, because I think there's too much information and I don't know if we caught everyone. Are you catching up with that?
Something.
Yeah, that would be good. No problem.
Basel, I suffer from something, and sometimes you don't have time, and consuming all that. Sometimes people are in a hurry to generate some kind of passive income, even though it's 100, 500, 200 or something, you know?
Mhm.
And we in this new digital era, sometimes people, they do feel like anxious, they do feel like, you know, they want to catch up, but they have a lot, so they feel overwhelmed and they feel too much. So why not? And for the community, for the beginners, sometimes, and as part of that, maybe I'm willing to pay $10, $20, $30 per month or something. But I know for a fact I will be generating 500, you know?
Mm.
And that's what you should shift when I get to the NTE. That's what you're more looking at.
Yeah.
For more than one.
Yeah, I know. It makes complete sense. I think before we go on break, just remember that everything that we're talking about is mostly focused on micro cap and small cap projects. So basically any project that's worth less than 10 million. And you shouldn't be putting 100% of your portfolio in micro caps and small caps. It needs to be almost 70% in medium cap to large cap, which is, 10 million to 100 billion. And then 20%, 30% of your portfolio can be in very risky, aggressive micro caps, small caps. And what we've seen is the Alpha Hunter, it makes a lot easier to find projects that are in the micro cap, small cap sector that are usually interesting. But then we also will go through the momentum trading engine. The momentum trading engine to me is like my second baby. It's taken so many years to build. But what it is, it just shows you whether or not it's worth you should be buying or selling. And we'll go through that. So we'll go through that after, but that's literally what it's doing. So like, for example, it's going to tell you whether or not to go long or whether or not to go short. Just as simple as that. It doesn't do much more than that, right? And I can show you, and we'll do it after the break. But yeah, that's basically it.
I think if I'm into learning this, I need to have a homework and to be a live homework. So if I win or I lose in this trading, or just I need to be practicing it more.
And
by
once
myself.
the checklist updated,
Exactly.
It's like educating system about how to trade and to deal with it.
That's exactly. I mean, like, look at how much you've already learned in one day. Like, you're talking about cabals and MEV bots. Like, it's amazing. So.
And bundling.
Yeah.
Alex GPT.
Yeah.
Guys, right?
It's amazing.
So far, it's
Here.
coffee worth about 20.
All right, I'm gonna go. We can take a 5 minute. I'm gonna go to the restroom.
What the other side and one side of the okay, so off-chain is basically when you're creating a finance. That I work on finance, that's off-chain. The tool, the wallet is not yours, the money is not yours, finance is not bank, it's basically it's bank. The money is not yours, please I run trips. Finance got that, the apps, the money is gone. Alright. On the wallet, your keeps your wallet, your money. On-chain, which is when you have the wallet. When you have a wallet, or if you have the full wallets, wallet. These are ledger, so wallet. So okay. Or hex tangibles. It's like that word. So these are less capital. First the off-chain, and then you're going to use your Solana, secrets of finance, see it. But perhaps the market you're not going to have you don't finance for the fact that but it's I think why the so your fee is your money, which is like I don't say so all right, so how do you take the order books? How do you use decentralized exchanges? You're basically trading on the blockchain. So how are you trading on the blockchain? You're connecting your wallet and you're connecting on the blockchain. via Uniswap or Dexscreener. Dexscreener is basically a trading terminal that has all these blockchains on it. And on this blockchain, واحد يعمل project. So Solana is layer one platform. It's a network, so it's blockchain. All blockchains are. Solana is it's a blockchain. Ethereum is another blockchain. Base is a layer 2 on Ethereum. Phantom is a layer 2 on Ethereum.
Layer 2 يعني
blockchain على blockchain. Layer 2 في layer 2. Okay, so Ethereum is layer 1. Base is a layer 2. Layer 3s. So Ethereum is very slow and heavy. It's a reverse blockchain. That's why it's very slow and heavy. Usually يكون عندك بداية بيقول لك gas fees على Ethereum really high, gas fees على Ethereum really high. Once the transaction بتدفع the transaction على blockchain, they get a higher price. So what do? They build complete blockchain, a second blockchain, layer 2. And that one is Launchpad, where they bundle all the blockchains into one. Alright. So you have all these blockchains. Each one of these blockchains run on algorithms. She means وشي بيكونوا layer ones اللي هن Sonic, Solana, Sweet, Side, these are about layer ones. وشي بيكونوا DeFi, DeFi بيكونوا decentralized exchange about these are DeFi. And then so you trade only BTC and ETH and Solana on Binance? Doge is a layer 1, but it's a mean layer 1. Alright? Alpha is a decentralized exchange. It's kind of like a lending for decentralized money. It's a lending platform for decentralized money. A lot of projects as you go in. DeSci is decentralized science, you know, so basically they make science projects. بيجمعوا مصاري يصيروا بيعملوا أغراض تبعهم that has to do under biology. These are DeSci. And في منهم كتير the whole ecosystem. So how can they under the Ethereum version? It's usually Uniswap. If it's under Solana, it's usually PumpFun, Rated. Okay, these are all. Yeah, PumpFun. Basel, can you open PumpFun?
Yeah.
PumpFun is a DEX, is a decentralized exchange. It's a decentralized header. That you can, it's not like it is to create a meme coin on Solana. Okay. Start the coin, create the coin, get it up. Now you have a coin running. These are all meme coins that are up on Solana right now on PumpFun. PumpFun, what is it? It's a platform that you can create tokens on Solana. And it's so simple and so cheap. Doesn't need anything. So في يوم كل واحد بيفتح بيفوت يطلع له بروجكت يقول انا بدي افتح ميم كوين اسمها بيبي. بيعملها زي كيف بيطلع بحطها he launches it to see people how he does marketing it, see how بدي يطلعها, بيعمل community behind it بيطلعها. بس
information.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, that's exactly it. It's basically, it's a launchpad. So it's a launchpad. So if you want to create, like, let's as a joke, we can say Alex GBT, right? And then if we want, that's the name of the project. Then if we want the ticker to be Alex, and then in description, Alex GBT is the next generation of AI, crypto analysis and predictions. And then we say, and then we say etc. And then you add the social links, you create a website, you create an X profile, you create a Telegram, etc. And then you log in and you upload an image, a picture or a video, and then you create the coin. Khalas, that's it.
Tiny coin. Cost you can 0.5 Solana and start for free now.
No, you still cost very little, very, very little. And then it gives you the option, and then it gives you the option. Ba'do, it gives you the option to buy. It gives you the option to buy.
Next step is to market it. That give people to buy it.
Social media, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah. And then once it reaches 69,000, was it 69? Is it still 69,000?
Yeah.
Okay, once it reaches 69,000, it graduates up to Radium. Radium is once you're on the Solana directly, you know?
Yeah.
Once you're there, you're on Dexscreener. صح Basel?
Yeah, but now they have their own called PumpSwap, which is like a
Now-
Radium competitor.
Now they have their own PumpSwap. But let's say they just created another platform called PumpSwap. Now Saro graduated there up and everybody's buying them.
Okay, let's talk about money. يعني انا مثلا اخترعت هذه الكوين اوكي كيف بدي اعملها فاليو مش بس بالفولو
كيف تحملها value كيف تحملها value the way it works is if you use PumpFun you can buy a small amount but then it's fairly distributed so everybody can come in and buy as much or as little as they want, right? But if you launch it and then 100 friends all buy $10 worth, then they're all going to own $10 worth of that project. And then the more people buy, the higher the price is going to go, right? It's as simple as that.
And this is why there's 100,000 tokens a day. هلا في أي واحدة منهم تطلع تعمل لك 100 million, the one that is capable of performing a community behind it. Right? The ones that are people getting people to buy more of it. So
Look.
this one is going to go to 100 or nothing.
Just look at this 7 seconds ago, 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 17 seconds, 20 seconds. Like this is why we're spending so much time and effort on the Alpha Hunter is because it's impossible. Like we don't have time. I have like 2 kids. I have a wife. Like I don't have the time to go through every single one of these, right?
يا الاونر يا الاونر his fans زاد بيحطوا ما بعرف شو بيحطوا له انت 100 اساس يعني هو بيحط هو الاونر and he locks it. That's his locked liquidity. That's how you lock the liquidity. You know بضلوا ان the contract على الارجح بيحط لها يسحب if it goes up يسحب المصاري he sells it. These are the tokens he holds. You know they're worth that much. And little PumpFun there is PumpFun, Moonshot, SwapFun, BookFun. These are only Solana. And the Alpha Hunter, the main part of the Alpha Hunter on Solana catches what we think is the best out of this. You know, it catches the top 5%, which you actually still have to do due diligence on. And it catches all of that on Solana, and then each blockchain has the same thing. This is Solana.
Like
Ethereum has the same thing.
So virtuals.
Sonic has the same thing.
Exactly.
They all have the same thing.
But
So each one of them has on this part in its different ways. Sui has its own thing with Cetus or Blue, whatever. Cetus is Cetus backward. I think it was hacked.
Cetus,
Okay, so they all have their own thing. Now, how do you want to navigate the space and pick up the next times 100? You have to do all these due diligence, or you can or you can come in, Blockcircle, because we have here. And now we'll shift you to other stuff, Honeypots, and then that's how you figure out. Yes, it's hard. Yes, you're gonna lose a lot. Yes, you're gonna win a lot. Yes, Aboudi, by the way, the ass will pick 2 times stands yesterday. I agree, but he likes to. And personally, in the end, it's a choice. It's either you like to trade this or you don't. I don't like trading on Solana. Basel knows. I don't even open the Alpha Hunter on Solana. I'm waiting for version 2, which are the EVMs, because I prefer trading on Ethereum and Base and Sonic and Sui. They're better, they're safer, they're harder to launch. The people are more serious. It's not PumpFun, BookFun. I called my hair. It's not this bullshit. I don't want to get. I didn't get into it. I did the whole every night. Usually don't even last 24 hours. إلا عامل 10 times 10 نمت الاقيها صارت صفر. I went through all that. It's not what I want. I went to 3-4 projects. 3-4 projects عملت times 20x. أحلم إنه أنا ضمني هيك. So you have to find what you are looking for. Aboudi, and he's like my brother. I got him into it. He's with us in Blockcircle. Aboudi likes the trenches. He likes to be on it all the time. He does 4 or 5. He divides his time. He does 3-4 hours a day. I'll go into the trenches. I'll see what's good. I'll come in. I'll do 2 hours. I'll either lose. I'll put in 10 projects. If I lose 1, if I lose 2, fine. If I carry 3, okay. If I make 2 times 10, I'm already in the money. You know, so that's the calculation. So you say you have $10,000 and you put $1,000 in each project. If you lose 2, okay, إذا بتكيت إذا بتعمل 4 منهم times 10 كنت عملت $30,000 for instance. $28,000 تطلع ربحانة على 10. So this is how we calculate it. I play differently. I like the mid caps. I like Basel. I like the mid caps, the 5 million ones that are up to run to 100 million that I can sleep on them for a month or two that are good projects. And if there's something that I have that I want to play with, I have something called fuck you money. And it's just, which I'm kind of losing in them, but it's my fuck you money. Is it itch? Yes, it's really cool. I really want to go into this community. I'll throw $100 at it. And then, by the way, the more you play in it, the more you go in it, the more you're going to get it. You're not going to get it the first time. We're just trying to give you kind of a whiff of it, because in 3 hours, you can't give this whole space in 3 hours. So we cannot explain such a huge space in 3 hours, because we want to tell you what to look at and what not to look at, and how we can help you make it a bit better. So that's phase one. I think Basel, you should jump into phase two.
Yeah, but I
That's the break of 5 minutes. We kept listening.
Yeah, I mean, I also just want to talk about like virtuals. So virtuals is another launchpad, but this launchpad is not focusing on memes. It's focusing on AI and AI agents, right? So you could launch an agent called Alex. It could be Alex GBT, and you could launch the agent and it shows up on x.com and people can talk to it. And you could ask it questions and you could say, what are you thinking about today? What is interesting in your sites? What are you looking at? What is a new project you're considering? And you can create these agents and you can have them as sentient agents. You can have prototype agent. There's so many amazing tokens that you can launch attached to an actual agent with an actual utility. An agent can be one where it analyzes projects. You could have an agent that just looks at real estate in Lebanon. You can have an agent that's looking at, virtual assistants in Beirut. You could have an agent that's looking at some kind of mini sub niche or some sub focus on some industry, right? And that's what they have. Like it's pretty incredible. Like what you can do with this. It's pretty amazing. So like the AI XPT is the largest AI agent that on Base, and all it does, they call themselves the Bloomberg of crypto, right? That's all. So it's giving you market intelligence and analysis. And you could launch the token, you could launch it yourself on virtuals. You can launch a token that competes with this if you want.
I followed the XBD on X. He had, I don't know what I call them, but 10,000 followers can handle.
Exactly. Even more now. He has hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
He started. They got it early.
فتت بالتليجرام تبعنا كانت الماركت كاب. عن جد يمكن شي تعرفوا يعني. مش I missed it. I just saw it. The idea was insane. بس ما بعرف ايش I told to my friend انه كيف مصاري.
But you know how to buy it now. The virtual is on Base.
Yeah.
It's on Base, right?
So you go to, if you wanted to buy it as an example, you go to Dexscreener, you do the same thing we did. Paste in the contract address. You look at all the liquidity pools. All these liquidity pools are on different exchanges. You see the little unicorn here? This unicorn is Uniswap. This is Aerodrome. This is Uniswap. This is PancakeSwap, right? So you go to that one, and then you say trade on Uniswap. The same thing again. And then you buy it. That's all.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I really wanted to walk through is for if you want less risk and you want more predictable returns over using strategies that will just simply tell you when you should buy and tell you when you should sell, you should look at the momentum trading engine, right? Because this allows you is in TradingView. So first of all, has everyone in this room ever used TradingView.com? Like has anyone ever used this? Has anyone not used it? I think that's my question. Has anyone not used it?
Of course. I didn't.
Okay, so Maroon, you've used it, right?
You've never used it? You've never used TradingView. Okay.
Okay. So all TradingView is you can set up like a free plan on TradingView.com. And the other thing about me and about Rania and about Conor and Blockcircle is we never ever offer affiliate deals. We don't do any of that bullshit. We don't do partner with exchanges. We always stay completely neutral and unbiased. And like that's very important to remember because everyone else, from what we've seen, they always have conflict of interest, right? So we do our best to never have that. But so you go to TradingView.com and you can set up a free trial and that's it. So and it has free access. You can use a free account even. You don't even need a paid account. So once you set it up, all it is, it's an analysis platform. So it allows you to go in and look at stocks, look at crypto, and then once you go into that, you can go into a full view that basically allows you to look at the price and look at the performance of this, this asset, which is Bitcoin, right? And then once you're in it, basically it's showing you candlesticks. So it's showing you when you should go short, when you should go long. So long is a good time to buy, short is a good time to sell, right? So let me try to find like a simple example here. So here is right here, right on April 12th, it's telling you to go long, which means it's a good time to be bullish, right? And this is Solana on the 8 hours on Binance. So it's Solana USDT, 8-hour time frame on Binance. It's telling you that it's a good time to go long on April 12th, right? And the price was around like 130, 128 to 128 was when it closed. And then once it got into profit, it sold. So the stop loss was hit, right? Then it opened up another trade on the April 29th at 150. And then it got into profit right here. It closed May 8th, right? Then it went long again on May 9th. And then it closed the trade a few days later on May 16th. And then it went again short. And then it went again short here. So it made money on the short here. Then it went again here. It's short. So that means it's a good time to short the market. That means it's a good time to be bearish. So it went short and then all the way down to 153, right? So that's the momentum trading engine. It's something you add on TradingView that we've built that allows you to create or use our trading strategies that we've used. And this can be as automated as you want, right? You can fully automate it if you want, or you can just buy and sell when it's telling you to buy and sell. And that's it. So, but it's fully configurable. So it's not like a closed box. You can fully configure it however you want. That's how it works. And there's like hundreds of options where you can change any parameter you want. And when you change every parameter, it's going to change the actual strategy itself, right? And that's how it works. So that's literally the momentum trading engine. And you can connect the momentum trading engine to Binance so you can buy and sell automatically. Or you can set it up where it emails you or alerts you. Like I'll give you an example of what it looks like. Like this is an alert that I got that we have in TradingView. It's sending it from TradingView to Discord. And then in Discord, we know exactly when to go long, when to go short. So like the last signal was to go long on Solana at 145. So it was long. And it went from 145 to like 155. And now I think it's right back down to like 150 something. So it's still in profit. And then also, it went short, right? Configuration, which one was it? Is it configuration? This one. So this went short right before US attacked Iran. So it went short right before the bombing in Iran. So it's telling you like this is the momentum is shifting back down. You should be going short on Solana, and it did. So it perfectly timed it. And it's not always perfect, but it is very accurate. So
98% accuracy.
Not all. It depends on the configuration, right? So like configuration 1 is not the most accurate, but it is the most profitable by far. Because you should always manage your exits. So if it's telling you to go short, that's fine, but then you should exit yourself, right? And this is, hopefully that makes sense. So configuration 4 is 98% accurate. And you can see that. You literally see that because it went long, it goes long and then it sells. Once it's in profit, right? And that's basically how it works.
Did you get it?
Okay, so Basel, I'm just gonna repeat just a bit. No, we shifted. We got out of the on-chain and we shifted in how we pick up the big three. So there's the big three, how we pick up when you go up, when you go down, and when you go short. So Basel built something called the MTA. It's not a bot, because bots, they move on grids, future grids, or nothing. This moves on multiple information. It moves on momentum, it moves on EMA, MA, moving average, or EMA. Moving averages, I think, as I saw when they intersect and when at a certain criteria, that's what we say we can change. Momentum is moving a bit above zero and the MA is crossing it, it will give a long signal. So when it gives a long signal, this one you can automate it, by the way. This one you can automate it. This one you can automate it and put it on Wonderbot or Maestro, Wonderbot or sorry, you've got 3 commas, or I don't know what they call it, one of these ones, and it will automate it and you're connected to the API to Binance and it will trade for you. We advise, especially Basel, that you manage your own exits because now we put it at a parameter of 1-2% and then cut, but sometimes there are much more. So you manage your exit because there's always something Iran that's here and then you have to just cut it out because if you're going long and Darabit Iran, the bot doesn't know that, the engine doesn't know that Iran Darabit. So just cut the exit, for instance. Otherwise, it gives you about 100% some configurations. I think one is actually 100%.
Yeah, configuration 3. Configuration 3 has still not failed. Like you see here. So it went, and the last time it went long on Bitcoin, right? So it's just been holding now. It's been waiting. But that's it. I mean, that's how you do it.
So this one will do that. This one will, you can either follow it when it gives you, okay, it gives you, because on Blockcircle it gives you now buy. You can either go do it manually or you can actually automate it through Monteros or 3 commas or whatever, to your Binance or Bitcoin account, or whichever account, because it's compatible with all. And then all you have to do is manage the exits once it's up.
Will configuration that I need to do in the bot here, Blockcircle will be giving us.
Yes, so that's what we have 4 configurations up. But if you are a trader and you know what you're doing and you know what you're looking at and you're much more advanced, you can actually play with these settings, and change it to something that you are comfortable with. And because I guess you're not at that level, you can use just any one of these. So one is on Solana, it goes up and down. I mean, this is the only one that goes on. These 2 are for buys, the one that actually sells. So this one's the buy and sell order, it does both. These both, we will probably reconfigure them when it's in the bear market to be more biased to sell. Now they're biased to buy.
Anna, as a trader, I would look this configuration or whatever this strategy is as an insight. And if it aligns with my strategy and if this bot is saying buy,
yes.
will probably risk.
Exactly.
But I cannot follow on something.
No, I think for her, for instance, it's something, and I want to do something that's automated. Fine, you can automate it. It can go, and then all you have to do is manage the exit. You see, this is a good one. Exit, let's get out, and the next time it does it, buy then. And as a trader, you can give it as a signal only. So now the momentum trading engine is looking for longs. So probably the market is going for up. So maybe now if Solana is going long, it's a good time to look at Solana meme coins to go up because Solana is going long. Versus if it's going short, why are you buying memes? But the whole market's dumping.
That's exactly like Moses. Your approach is exactly like mine. I don't like to ever fully outsource trading. I want to manage my exits, right? And I showed you why that's important, right? Is because if I didn't manage my exit on the Solana short, I would have opened it at 144 and closed it at 145. Not really made anything, broke even. But in the end, I went short on June 14th, right? And then after that, I closed it using a trailing stop loss. And that was it. And I talked about that. I talked about that in Blockcircle. We post all of our trades and we post all of our market analysis and we post everything here, right? But I also say, like I said, this is a very good time to take profit because this is very likely going to be a bounce that we see with the war, like we saw back in April. And I said this, June 12th. I said this is going to be almost exactly like what happened in April. It's going to be Iran was attacked, the stocks are going to crash, crude oil and gold is going to skyrocket, then stocks are going to plummet again, Bitcoin's going to be brought down, and then it'll recover in 1 to 2 weeks. That's exactly what happened now. You know, so, but you can't, that's why you shouldn't just blindly rely on the trading engine. Like you should manage your exit, you know? Otherwise, if you do it like that, so June 12th, right? This is when it went short. Whereas right here. So you want to go down to, it went down to 125. So I waited till it got to 130 and then I set a trailing stop loss and I wrote that. So I waited until it got here and then I set a trailing stop loss where it would just trail the stop and the position was closed. So it closed it. It doesn't always work. It's not exactly perfect where I get the bottom every time, but sometimes I do. But the point is whenever it's in profit, I enable trailing stop loss and that's it. So
stop loss that moves with the parameters of the trade. So if it hits back up to it, it would close with your profit.
Yeah, like this.
And you can Binance, because these you can actually open them on Binance.
So this is a trailing stop loss. So the blue line is your stop loss. So let's say you enter at 8,000 and then the trailing stop loss is at 7,500. And then if the price goes up, the stop loss will go up again to keep protecting your profit. And then you can sleep at peace, because if the asset crashes and you're in a long and it crashes, then your stop loss will get hit, but at least you've moved it up and you've protected your profit.
Yeah, you have that for Binance. I'm sure. I don't know if you do trading stop loss.
No, I don't do.
I searched.
You can do in Binance. You can use it too.
Okay, but I didn't go into
So
details.
you get what trading stop loss is?
No, I have a lot
Here.
to understand.
هي mainly بس تنزل تحت رقم معين.
Basically, during stop loss, let's say you bought at 100,000 and your target is at 110,000. هي هلا at 105,000. All right, and you're gonna go to sleep. You don't know it might just jump down. So what you do, you put a trading stop loss that says, okay, I have a trading stop loss of 10%. If you hit that 10%, it's not talking on accident profit.
10% تحت ال 105.
Yeah.
So it goes from 10% تحت ال 105 يعني إذا صارت 1400 1,100 and 4,000 something. It's a trading stop, and as long as it keeps going up, it will trade up within 10%. So it's a 406 and then 10%. It goes 10% down from 106 and you put trading stop loss at 10% and then 106. مش at the stop loss at 104. تطلع معك. أكيد ما تطلع معك. You know, and then it's protect more profits. So he does that with the trading stop loss and then he
بس إذا صار crash
So إذا الاثنين ما صار شيء في trading stop loss to stop there.
وإن
And
كان
he manages
صار
his own exits because okay, if you think the market's going, this one says it's going to move for 2%, that's in the shape and it's going to go another 5%. So just manage your exit.
والشورت بتشتغل على نفس الطريقة.
Hey, same thing. Same thing.
Yep.
It buys trading stop loss, same thing.
كمان. يعني كمان انت covered انت
Same thing. If the anti goes short and it only does that on Solana, if it does go short and you are in profit and you do put the trading stop loss, depending on what it is, it will hit it once it goes back up. It will do it by order, you know. And we use that for information. So this is when you want to buy, and it has 98% accuracy. So if you're just doing that, you're making 98% of your trades, or 100%. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but and then the only other thing I would add is Maroon, you were talking about is 10% تحت your entry price. The beauty of it though is if it maintains that 10%. So if the price goes up, it keeps sticking to 10%, higher and higher and higher. It keeps moving automatically. Rather than you every minute, you're going and manually setting a new stop loss every minute. That doesn't make sense, right? Like you want to go to sleep. You don't want to manage your trades that closely. So that's the whole point of the trailing stop, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of the whole engine is we don't want to be manage the trade so closely all the time. So it will pick it up, it will do it. You'll just have to check on it once or twice or 3 times depending on neurotic you are. And then manage your exits and your trading stop loss, and you're good for that to make Basel. I think Basel's portfolio is made up of I don't know what your portfolio made up of, but probably you have 20% of your portfolio on the MTE.
Yeah, but I want to put more. So my goal is to end up having almost 50% of my portfolio with these three configurations: configuration 1, 3, and 4. Because configuration 1 is Solana on the 1 day, right? And then configuration 3 is Bitcoin on the 1 day. So these are swing trades, swing trading strategies. Configuration 4 is very aggressive, but it's the most accurate, and it's Bitcoin on the 1 hour. And then I want to have maybe 30% in the Alpha Hunter, right? Because I want to track like Abstract. Abstract is a brand new blockchain, and we haven't enabled it yet, but it's already set up in the background. We just haven't launched it yet. But we're tracking all new launches on Abstract Chain, on Sonic Chain, on Beirut Chain, Unichain. These were just launched, right? So we're tracking launches on all of those, and I want to have 30% entirely in the Alpha Hunter, 50% in the MTE, and then 20% cash. I think that's a very balanced portfolio, you know? And then, like, you know, the other thing I'll show you is this, right? So this shows you the overview. So this shows you the overview of like one example of a trading strategy. So in green, it's showing you the trading strategy. In blue, it's showing you how much you would have made if you had just bought and held. Like if you had bought Solana and held it until now, you would have made, you still would have done okay. You would have done 45%, right? Versus making 230%, right? But the more important thing is the drawdown. So the drawdown is, I really want to make sure this is clear. The drawdown is your unrealized loss. So if you're using a trading strategy and the drawdown is really high, like 50%, that's not good. Because that basically means that at any one time you are exposed to the downside 50%. You're 50% in the red, and you don't want that, right? 29% is a little high, right? It is definitely a little high, but it's much better than 85, 90%, which is what Bitcoin literally drawdowns are. Like 90%, it goes down, right? Ethereum, like 80, it was 90, 95%. So I don't want to have assets where I'm holding them down 95%. So this shows me, okay, this is a good time. I don't want to be holding those ridiculous drawdowns, so I'm going to be selling, right? Or I'm going to be shorting those. So that's it. Yeah, Conor, you want to say something? Jump in.
Good night. I'm gonna head on. It's
Yeah.
it's maybe 2 a.m. or something.
2 a.m.
3 a.m. I don't know.
All right.
Good night. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rania. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Conor. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
But yeah, I mean that's how it works. But why I like this is that you can configure it however you want. So and this is where the community comes in. Like the community will always tell me, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? Like they're constantly giving ideas. They're constantly suggesting, can I look at this? Can I look at this? Why don't you take into consideration this indicator? Because it's not just using, price or volume. It's using hundreds of conditions, right? So it's using momentum. It's using our own momentum indicator. It's using RSI as one, but it's using RSI on multiple time frames. Like that's very important, multiple time frames. So it's like if you're seeing the 1 hour change and then the 4 hour change and the 1 day change, that's a very good sign that there potentially could be a shift in the trend, right? And the same thing with it's using Heikinashi. You can use Heikinashi if you want. You can enable and disable any condition you want. And then when you enable it, it'll change the view, right? It'll change it entirely. And then that's basically how it works. So you have all of your conditions that you want to enter. All these conditions have to be met before you enter. And then the last part, which is step 3, is how do you want to exit, right? How do you want to exit? So do you want to exit with a stop loss? Or do you want to exit with a target profit? So that's completely up to you. Do you want to only look at higher time frames? So rather than saying, oh, if the price hits in the 4 hour, then I'll exit. No, you can have it on higher time frame. You can say, I want to wait until the 1 day confirms that there's a shift, right? And you can enable trailing stop loss here directly, right? And then you can enable other exits. So this is all exit conditions. So you have your entry conditions and then your exit conditions. That's it. It's just as simple as that.
We can enable them at the same time, all of that.
It's up to you. So it's fully configurable. So you figure out what conditions you want to test, and then you check the strategy tester at the bottom, and you see whether or not it's improving or worsening, right? And if it's not, so if, for example, right now, if I change this to 13, you see how it's changing? It went from 230 to 123. So I know that that's not good. So I want to keep it to 16. Now, what if I change the T3, which is stacked average, moving averages? What if I put this to 21? Does it make it better? No, it makes it worse. How much worse? Very little. So it doesn't make sense to do that, right? What if this one is using higher time frames. So it's using 8 hours, and then it looks for the 1 day to see if there's a confirmation, right? A higher time frame confirmation. And then, but if you disable this, it goes down. So that's not better. So it's better with it, right?
بس الكونفيجريشن اللي انتم بتعطونا اياه هون it's gonna be انتم based على البد results بعد ما تكونوا already شفتوا السي سي اي ريبورت والبلا بلا بلا.
We keep testing them and keeping coming with new ones. These are the best, but there's infinite number of configurations. So to figure one out for you. This one works, but if you're a trader, like we went all in and got out. I think people are much more safer. She prefers putting her portfolio 20% real estate, 20% gold, 20% highest. So it kind of depends where you are and where you are in your life as well. So older people probably don't invest as heavily as younger people who have much more risk tolerance to something. So you kind of shift it. Now we give you what we think is the basic and which is a good one. And again, as you said, it's a community. I'm sorry that it should keep going. It's a community, so everybody helps everybody else. I think everybody knows it. I don't know. أنا سفيت على شيء أربع في Discord community. To me, this is why I actually co-founding the MENA part, and this is why we're just starting because I kind of click with them the best.
This fellow is it a startup?
No, هلا شوف Basel's been since 2017. So 2017 Basel Blockcircle.
Yeah, I should have showed this in my introduction, but this is me, and then so we started Blockcircle in 2017. Okay. And
sorry, Basil, I'm gonna cut you. I just started the MENA part 2 weeks ago. So this is so new. So we are still test trying. Should we do it indoors? Should we get people to come? The first one we did it was online. This one we're doing much more. Which advertising is better? What's the best way to get people on board?
Yeah.
We start in Lebanon. We do because it's the MENA region, and the MENA region is huge. Back to Dubai, do we build it more in Lebanon and then we go outside? We're just. I'm still. I don't even know if I'm doing well, by the way, Basil. So I don't even know if I'm doing well explaining. So I'm really just trying.
You're doing great. You're doing great, Rania. Thank you so much. You're doing a wonderful job. No, I mean that's my background. So like the reason why I love crypto is because it's like mathematics, algorithms, machine learning, data science, information security. It's all mixed together, right? And like that's what I love about it. So for me, like it's like the perfect mix, and that's basically it.
And just to clarify, he has a bunch of his portfolio in crypto. Of course, there's a bunch of his portfolio that's outside crypto. This is what he does, but as well investing, that's what investing is. So you don't diversify. And in crypto, this is what he actually excels at. And I think he's coming up with much newer things, by the way. I don't know what you're talking about the other day. So we keep on building to whatever we think it's, because the market changes very quickly and it's very rapid and it's very, so you have to kind of build up with it. And he just gave me a very nice surprise and changed the website today.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're not basically, even if I end up having 100 million, 200 million, like I'll always focus on building on Blockcircle because this is where we get it from. Like everybody who's in the group is always contributing ideas, suggestions. They're the brains, like all, and I'm curating all of those ideas and building it all, right? So
That's just so Hunter is it?
yeah,
I thought
the Alpha Hunter, the analysis one. So
do the analysis in a bit. Oh, actually, okay, start with the analysis and then we go the ones that the listed tokens, how we found out which tokens are to be listed on tier 1 and tier 2 exchanges before they are
yes,
listed.
yes. Yes, I'll show that. So basically, there's also this, right? So the Alpha Hunter, the only one I've showed you so far is for new token launches, which is like in the middle, right? But the Alpha Hunter is a lot more than that. It's also tracking projects that are worth farming for
Blue
airdrops.
color, yeah, that's it.
I think it's about
You need to change the blue color because on the screen it flashes the eyes.
Basel, are you back on?
Yeah. No, I'm back on. I can hear it. What did she say about flashing?
The blue one and the white writing here on the TV, it's not clear, so I don't know if the presentation on others places it's gonna be the same. And not clear.
Well then, okay, what about, is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically the Alpha Hunter, what it's doing is it's focusing on tracking new launches, but at each step of the way. So what we talked about was tokenization. We talked about 3, right? This is what where we talked about where I showed you. But it's also, we're also tracking 4 and 5, which is when these tokens are getting listed on exchanges, centralized exchanges. So Coinbase, Binance, this is very important because then there's so much opportunity there where you're tracking which projects are going to get listed on which exchanges. So for example, we know that Doge was getting listed on Coinbase, on Kraken, right? And we knew that before it was listed, right? And the same thing with this Node. We knew that Node is going to be listed on KuCoin, right? And it's gonna happen tomorrow. So we knew 3 days ahead that it's going to be listed tomorrow, right? And this is very important because this shows you the strength of these projects and whether or not they're going to survive. And listed is tracking every single token that was just listed. Like the second it starts trading, we get notified immediately, right? And this is our own app. We built this ourselves, completely custom, and then we can track exactly what is being launched on Binance, what is being launched on Coinbase, what is being launched on each major exchange. Like Moodang, like this is interesting, right? Why is Moodang, you know, the baby pygmy hippopotamus, they're getting listed on Binance US. Like that's interesting to me, you know? So, and then a lot of times, if you buy these tokens right when they're about to get listed, it's sometimes it's like 20, 40, 50, 80% higher. And the price will go up like crazy because the anticipation and the excitement of those coins being listed, you know? And this
actually, sorry about not cutting off. And then a very good strategy you could do that we've noticed, or at least I've noticed, that after if you see it's going to be listed on Binance, it's a meme, wait for it to get and then short it because it actually just
the futures.
Futures. That's what I said. Of course, who did it very much as futures, Binance futures will very much. Then wait for it. If it's a meme coin, it's just gonna dump. 99% dump.
Yeah.
So you just wait for it.
It's different. I remember Binance listing كانت انه خلاص.
No, it changed. The market changed.
Binance listing خلاص انه you made it. هلا Binance listing is the top side.
Yeah, because that's why it's better to focus on to be listed on Binance, right? So the announcement, we're scraping the announcement the second it gets posted before anyone else. Within
You know.
Yeah, to do this, and I'm just preparing myself to sell.
Exactly. So this is how we know. And okay, you know what? This might take a little longer. It's now on a tier 3 exchange. It's now on Maxi, XT. I don't know. I don't remember what they are. And so it's going up. Oh, now it's on Qcoin, Kraken, Binance. Now it's going to be basically on Binance. Fucking sell that shit. It's just another. على الارجح هيك especially if it's a meme coin depends on what it's a meme coin على الارجح خلاص وصل على الباب you might as well get rid of it probably at the end then just trade it.
طيب عندي سؤال من اللحظة اللي أنت بتلقطها من الألفا هانتر تيعطيك الفايف فلتر ميم كوين لأنت تكون you're taking into consideration based on a checklist whether you want to go in or no. هيدا أي متى بتكون مثلا updated الليست إذا it will be مثلا listed من بعد ما يجوا
immediately, like literally within like 30 seconds of it trading, it's listed. So
الدغري.
The concept it's going to be listed on Maxi. I think we surveyed the question last it. Once it's up on Alpha Hunter, it's not going to be directly up on Maxi. You know?
No, I didn't. No, I understood, but it literally it's within 30 seconds. I'm not like if it's listed here on the Alpha Hunter 2 list, then it's going to tell you when. So that could be 10 minutes, it could be an hour, it could be 3 days from now. But if it's an Alpha Hunter listed, that means it's already traded. It's right now. That's the first trade, then we get an alert immediately. So it could be 5 seconds.
Okay. And sometimes we can get an Alpha Hunter to list that we need to buy, and at the same time checking the Alpha Hunter listed to see whether we want to exit that meme coins.
Yep.
Not only put on the checklist and Cabal and to decide whether we want to stay or to exit. If we want to stay, it will be listed on another exchange, so I will be gaining more maybe.
The way I would look at it is think of it as Alpha Hunter launches is step 1. Then it goes to Alpha Hunter to list, and then it goes Alpha Hunter listed. So you track it through the whole life cycle. And you can keep selling a little bit at each stage if you want, if it's a project that's worth it. But usually, if a project starts showing up here, that's a very good sign that that project is very likely to at least survive a little bit longer than everyone else. That's all. It doesn't mean that it's going to do incredibly well, but it's going to survive a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. And sometimes we have مثلا coins listed بالalpha hunter to list. We buy and we need to. Who will give us information as a هيدا it's a good project or not a good project?
No.
يعني if it's gonna يعيش or it's gonna die immediately.
This is why we have our chat, right? We have our market chat, we have a news chat. Like this is extremely active. So like here, one person asked me this morning, Basel, what are your thoughts on this project? I'm in it. I'm curious. What do you think? And then I'm going to look at it. And this is an example. Like there's so much chatter. There's so much discussion and brainstorming, and everyone is analyzing the projects and looking at them. And we have a Solana ecosystem channel. We have a base ecosystem channel. We have an abstract ecosystem channel. We have Monad, like all these blockchains. And each thread is focusing on a particular project. So if there's a project that you see that you like, that you're not sure if it's good or not, you right click, you'd say copy message link, and then you just tag me. You say so you go here and you say at Basel, what do you think, of this new token listing? And then I can look at it and analyze it and give you my thoughts, right? That's it.
بس there is no مثلا live analyzing على موضوع الكوين التو ليست او لا we need to ask about it اذا ما حدا بالكوميونتي او ما حدا بالشات مثلا حكى عنه.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's no automated way, but the chances are there is going to probably be somebody who's mentioned it in some way in the past if you look long enough. Like you just have to use the search function. and see whether or not somebody has talked about it, right? Like Newt, a lot of people talked about Newt, so we could look for it, right? So, and then you see, okay, who else is, so like, see, we tracked it with the Alpha Hunter. You see right here? So we saw Newt with the Alpha Hunter BSC. So this is what I was telling you, is that you find it in the Alpha Hunter new launches, and then some are going to go to the Alpha Hunter 2 list, and then some will go to the listed, right?
And some will just look for it.
And based on the checklist here, the cabals, blah, 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 it will also give me like a vision or an image, a picture, whether it's kind of blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
And it will be assured, this picture will be assured whether you want to stay or leave.
It will
Based
hide
on it's gonna be listed on another exchange, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. And
Like-
as if on an executive level.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's exactly it. And the reason why I like this project immediately is because look at this whale, Alex. Look at this whale. This whale has 500,000. Almost 400,000 of the 500,000 is USDT. So this is like clearly a very disciplined and strict whale. He's not just buying random shit. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna put 500,000 in Newt. I'm gonna buy 100,000, and I'm still gonna keep 400,000 aside. I mean, that's very. This is the kind of whale you want. And then if you want to see whether or not he sold, you click it and then see that this guy, is he still holding? Did he sell? Like I'm actually curious now too. So it's not showing up here. So now I'm curious. Did he exit? Did he not exit? You know. So that could be interesting. But that's how you do it. That's how I'm doing it. Doesn't take more time than that. You know.
But you know something, just in it needs practice. You know,
But
with
it's gonna take you time.
confidence.
It's gonna take you time. I mean, but it's like it's a different language, right? So it just takes time.
Sounds like this.
And that's it, يعني, just you need to work.
And then once you figure out what you like to do, it become even more like
Yes,
this.
I know. I can see it clearly. يعني. As if you're starting a PR and PO and invoicing on Oracle, then you know.
Exactly.
And the first time when you start using Oracle, it's something like you cannot understand. Then later on, you start using it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just a general question.
بس يكون في analysis يعني your own analysis شوي إنه إذا you have time مثلا to see أو هيك أو مثلا equation بالنسبة لإلي إنه مثلا إذا الكبال less than 20 more than هيك لا مثل ما أنت قلت إنه مثلا to show a result driven analysis بقيتها ليها as a checklist إنه low risk, medium risk, high risk وتكونوا أنتوا اخذين انتوا consideration انه بيكون كل واحد بنفس الوقت is doing their due diligence على هذا الشيء اللي طلع. So في عالم اسرع من عالم حيكونوا.
Yes, but also one thing you should know is we're building our own web app. So we have our own web app that I've like very quickly showed you, but we have our own investment analytics web app where we're tracking, you know, all of the different metrics across thousands of cryptocurrencies, 18 blockchains, where we're tracking, you know, everything. So like sentiment scores. So how many page views are going to the Bitcoin Wikipedia page? And like, to me, this is very, very important to read the market. Like what Moses was saying, he has his own method, his own technique, and he would use the momentum trading engine as an input to help guide how he's navigating the market. This is what I do too, is I look at these metrics very closely. I look at the sentiment. Are people bullish? Are people bearish? Is interest rising? Is interest declining, right? But we're also building the Alpha Hunter web app, which basically allows you to create your own alerts, right? So create your own alerts to say, imagine I only want to get projects that have 3 whales that are on the base blockchain, that have cabal less than 80%, that have, you know, insiders made less than 50,000. Like you can have 1,000 filters, and you can, and then we're building it to be web-based, but then we're also doing one in Telegram. So the Telegram one, you could do exactly how you want it using your own filters, right? So like this, see, like this will tell you, okay, what do you want the maximum buy tax to be, the maximum sell tax? Do you want honeypots to be included or not? Do you want transfers to be possible? Obviously no, right? So you can set your own filters as sophisticated as you want to be, right? But hopefully that makes sense. But that's what we're building now too in the background.
لأنه it's good بس لأنه sometimes يعني مثلا as rookie you cannot understand حتى even مثلا how to think إنه أنت you put the honeypot blah 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 blah.
That's why we have this. That's why the predefined alerts is what you're asking about. That's what you were asking about originally too. These predefined alerts, think of them as like templates that we've created that you could use if you want. And we can have one that's like low risk, medium risk, high risk. And then you can only be alerted. If you only want to be alerted for the ones that are considered lower risk, you could just subscribe to a predefined alert, right? Rather than you creating your own completely custom alert, you can just use a template alert that we've created that we've determined is good and trustworthy, right? Hopefully that makes sense.
Somehow, Moses, you had a question.
Oh yeah, it was just a general question, not related to Alpha.
Yeah.
What do you think of Binance listing only on perpetual and not on spot? Is this like against the community, against the people?
I don't even I do all of my trading now on chain, so I don't pay close attention to centralized exchanges except outside of listings, because to me clearly the future is on chain. Like there's nothing anyone can say to me that's going to convince me otherwise. You know, like it's so obvious that everything is clearly moving towards decentralized. I just don't see any future where that's not the case. And you can literally see this, Moses. Like look at the data itself, right? So this is showing you, if you look at the total value locked. So this is the amount of money that's being locked across decentralized finance just on Ethereum. It's just Ethereum. What's the trend for the last 2 years, right? It's clearly just trending higher and higher and higher. So the trend is very clear. We're just very early, and it's going to probably take 5, 6, 7 years, but eventually volume on centralized exchanges will keep dropping. And I think, and Binance knows this. So Binance, I think in the future is going to be in trouble. But the same thing with all of the centralized exchanges. But that being said, people are still always going to prefer they're going to initially always start off chain. They're just going to always, that's the easiest way to onboard and to get ready and deposit funds, etc. But you know what's cool? What I find really cool is some of the new on-chain projects they're doing stocks on chain now, where you can trade stocks on chain. So that's pretty incredible. Like, so you're skipping Fidelity Investments, you're skipping all of these centralized exchanges, centralized platforms, and you can trade, buy and sell Microsoft stock and Tesla stock on chain. That to me is amazing, you know? But yeah, and Binance, the problem with Binance is that they're obviously are insiders, right? They're insiders and they're pumping the project. And then when they manipulate the market quite a bit. So when they pump the project, then they'll talk about the project. They'll send announcements to it. They're saying this project's going to be listed on spot. Then it's going to be listed on futures. Then it's going to be listed with 100x leverage. And then it keeps pumping. But as it's pumping, they're selling. And the thing is, that's, you know, there's a conflict of interest there, obviously, very clearly.
Tell them about Hyperliquid.
Yeah, but the same thing with Hyperliquid. So Hyperliquid is decentralized, and what I like about Hyperliquid is it's a decentralized futures, right? So what I do is I use DYDX. So DYDX is where I'm sending actually my momentum trading engine trades. So I'm sending my momentum trading engine alerts. I'm sending them to DYDX. See this here? So this, it's literally, yeah.
Yes. This guy on 2020, he was saying his friends basically, you know, please just, you know, trade على
DYDX?
لا على Hyperliquid So he did his own thing. ما كتير عالم بيسمعوه, and he got the top 5 airdrops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have a whole section on airdrops. He's actually airdropping Monad, Basel.
Yeah.
He's sort of Monad actually. Been for a while now. I'm the idiot who didn't do that.
Farming what?
Farming Monad. Monad is a new. It's a layer 1, right?
Yeah, it's a no, but the thing is, no, it's a layer 2, but it's
Layer 2.
but
Layer
this,
2.
but I was farming Hyperliquid for multiple years. Like we've been using Hyperliquid for years. Like it was one of my favorite Dex perp, futures, but there's so many. Like Hyperliquid is one, DYDX is good, GMX is good, but right now the way I have it set up is I'm literally sending alerts directly from TradingView directly to DYDX. That's what you're seeing here, right? So, and it works well. So, but I think that's to me, all of those platforms are the future. Like they're just going to continue rising, yeah, that's about it. All right, guys. I mean, there's nothing more on my end that I need to cover, but I can stay on and answer any other questions. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It was really, hopefully you found it helpful, and I really loved your questions. It was good. Thank you, Rania, for organizing it all. It's wonderful.
Sure, Basel. Anybody has any questions?
Basel, best to do a small recap. يعني Binance it's a SaaS, so نحن it's better إنه نكون نحن we are shifting our trading أو our DCA أو على الدكس.
Yeah.
Because you are the only person هو معك أنت السكيورتي كي أو السكيورتي phrase اللي هي موجودة واللي هي صورة
No one can 100%. Because it doesn't. Because those exchanges, like I can't tell you how many, just disappear. Like it will nothing. Just one day they'll disappear, and you'll never hear from them again. All the time.
Okay, then we connect the Dexscreener على الوالت اللي نحن بدنا الكولد والت اللي نحن بدنا نكون عم ننزلها MetaMask, Phantom, blah blah blah, depends which هيك. وبيزد على مثلا إذا we want to subscribe to Blockcircle, Alpha, Hunter والconfigurations مثلا later on أو هيك. ساعتها we can plug them into our Dexscreener.
Yep. And then you're on your way. So for example, if there's a project you like that's worth looking at, and you really want to buy it, then you go into the project that's being posted, and then you click this link. There's always a Dexscreener link. So you just click it, and then if you really want to buy it, then you go in and you say you can for Solana you can buy it right away, just built in, or you trade on Uniswap like we did before.
Swap.
Basel, I just followed you on X. How do you know Crypto Bullet? Do you know him? He has you followed.
Crypto who?
Bullet.
Crypto Bullet? I don't know. I follow a lot of people, man.
Well, he follows.
He followed you.
Let me see.
By the way,
Crypto Bullet.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No. Not this one.
Crypto Bullet. Bullet? Oh, this guy. Yeah. I've seen him before. I like him. I mean, it is. But you see how many people I follow, right? So like.
I just followed you. Follow me back.
Yeah, like anybody who's interesting that seems to be having some kind of content, then I follow them, right? I don't like think twice about it. Because yeah. Oh wait, so where are you? Is this you?
Yep.
This is you?
Yep.
Okay. Crypto Lysics. Nice. I like it, man. Cool, brother.
you know overdose?
That's good.
You know overdose? Okay. So, Anna is one of my favorite overdose. He's actually with us on Blockcircle.
Overdose?
Check him out. Anna, I like his trading the best now.
No, we have Overdose. We have Mac
I
and
know.
BTC. We have huge whales in there. But we have a lot of the founders. We have like a founder of the. No, this is like a copycat. But we have the founders of layer 1, layer 2 blockchains. A lot of them are just quiet though. They just like to observe, you know, and then they'll trade, but they don't want to say anything because then they're just going to get overwhelmed.
Talk to Basel personally.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard those.
He's with us on Blockcircle, but they're quiet. They talk to Basel on the side.
Yeah. They're just
They
quiet.
don't.
وباسل سؤال after launching Blockcircle وهيك مثلا do you have real figures مثلا to show the public او more مثلا انه
What's your success rate?
ايه انه real results or real example for giving insights to people انه
Yeah.
whether they want to start investing $100, $1,000, $2,000 blah 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 as real example to not for me يعني I'm speaking
I know.
حتى
I
different people that might think
يعني باسل عمل كذا مرة times 100x and then like every other trade.
أكيد بس أنت how you can go and tell
It's a personal thing. I just
ما هي عرفت يعني sometimes people they were tactile يعني
yeah.
you know tactile يعني they need
Yeah.
to قول ايش يعني kinesthetic
Yeah, no, I faham. But I'm as for me, I'm not interested in marketing and promoting. I don't want to grow Blockcircle to like thousands and thousands of people. Like we want to keep it extremely tight, very private, very focused. Because every dollar that we're making from subscription, we're immediately using to building and scaling the apps. That's all. So we're not making money from that. We're making money from actually trading. But I don't like to promote. I don't like to market. Once in a while, we'll do these kinds of things where like, you know, we'll say, okay, here's Blockcircle Alpha Hunter. We just launched it, right? At the beginning of this year. And here are some real wins that we got. And they're not all memes. Like some of these projects ended up becoming real projects with real utility, real function, and solving real problems, right? And we'll do flexes here and there. And then on the main site, on the front page, we have this, and this is real. These were real numbers. So, but you know, obviously we did this like 2 years ago. But basically we were like, okay, our goal is to outperform Bitcoin and outperform the S&P 500. And we did. We completely crushed buying and holding Bitcoin by at least 3x by the end of the year, 2023, and even more in 2024. So to me, I think the numbers speak for themselves. But like Rania said, I think it's a very individual thing. Like if you're following generally the momentum trading engine and you're getting a few big winners on the Alpha Hunter, you should be doing quite well for yourself. But you got to manage your risk. Like the problem is people will join and they'll just blindly buy every single new project coming in the Alpha Hunter and they're not doing any kind of due diligence, and then they won't manage their risk. So rather than buying $20 worth, they buy $2,000 worth and they get wiped out and they're like, what just happened? You're like, well, you didn't manage your risk. You didn't manage your portfolio size at all. And that's just as important as which project to buy, you know? Oh, and then the last thing, Rania, that we should have talked about is the course. So we built the whole course too. I would definitely, it's on learn.blockcircle.com. And this shows you everything. So section 1, introduction. Section 2, introduction to technical analysis. Section 3, off-chain trading, right? And then section 4 is all on on-chain. So this is where like I literally talk about trading terminals. And in each lesson, there's a full tutorial, but there's also the quiz for every single section to test your knowledge, right? And that is it. So it's very detailed and it's available for everyone, you know? So, and then this course, people are charging like thousands of dollars for these courses. We refuse to charge a single dollar for any form of education. Like it's against like what we believe in. So we have it available for everyone and everybody can pick it up and learn. And honestly, if you go through the course, you should have you should be ready for for going in and really trading on chain. You know, yeah, I think that's basically it.
Thank you, Basel.
No, you're welcome, guys. Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
We hope you 12 to 20 zeros after a one.
Let's
Something.
let's say I want to be part of the community.
Yeah.
How can I meet? How can I meet you guys? How can I meet Basel?
Bus is in Arizona. You can meet me and you can be here with me anytime. We can put you up on our Discord. Put the prices, if you want to put the prices up, Bus.
Oh yeah,
Yes, please.
sorry. Yeah, you just go to Blockcircle and then go to.
Here, that's the price name. You can add a monthly or 3 month or yearly. I'll give you a hack later what to do to get a really good price. Wait for Black Friday, get all 50%. Sorry, Bus.
We haven't. The price has been the exact same for 8 years now. We've never changed the price. It's always just 100 a month or $9.90 a year. So, but yeah, we'll figure something out if you want more of a discount. That's fine. No problem.
That's fine. You get some kind of discount and I'm forget to kickstart this out. So
Yeah.
just I'll give you my number, or you can I'll give you Basil's or my number, which is easier.
I have Basel followed on X. I can
Okay.
text them.
That's
I need
all
to
the
know
Basil's
anyways.
company. Take my number 03 638 577, and anytime you can onboard in 2 minutes.
Yeah, please.
Rania Halabi.
No, I mean the number.
03
Yeah.
638 577. And you can actually just come out on blockcircle.com, just get in your credit card. I don't know if Bas is going to do anything. You can talk to us and see if we can give you a kind of like a
Yeah,
push.
no, we usually have a workshop discount. So the workshop
give you a push.
discount.
Just try for like a month or two, and if you're good to go, you jump in. If you want to sit, I've been around for I don't know, so I'm not leaving. So it's not with me.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna drop off. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye, guys. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.